The recruitment station on Vortex Prime buzzed with activity as beings from across the galaxy lined up for military assessment. Commander Zex, a towering Krillian with scales that gleamed like polished obsidian, surveyed the candidates with practiced disdain. His 4 eyes swept over hulking warriors, agile hunters, and psychic manipulators. Then his gaze landed on something that made him pause. A human, a small, unremarkable human female, standing barely 5 feet tall. Next, Zex bellowed, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had crushed rebellions across 3 star systems. Maya Chen stepped forward, her combat boots clicking against the metal floor. Her black hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and her brown eyes held a calm that seemed almost insulting in the face of such obvious intimidation. The other recruits burst into laughter. A massive Gorvok warrior, easily 8 feet of pure muscle and bone spikes, slapped his knee with enough force to dent steel. Look at this tiny thing. Did someone's pet escape from the cargo hold? More laughter echoed through the chamber. Even the usually stoic Nexary mind readers were struggling to contain their amusement. Maya simply stood there, hands clasped behind her back, waiting. Silence. Zex roared, though his own mandibles twitched with barely suppressed mirth. State your name and intended specialization, human. Maya Chen, sir. I'm applying for the Beast Handler program. The laughter died instantly, replaced by stunned silence. Then erupted again, twice as loud as before. Beast Handler? The Gorvok warrior could barely speak through his mirth. You can't even handle a stiff breeze. What beast would listen to something so pathetic? Zex leaned forward on his command throne, for eyes narrowing. Human, the Beast Handler program is reserved for the most formidable warriors in the galaxy. We work with creatures that can tear through starship hulls with their bare claws, beings that have evolved beyond your comprehension. What makes you think a fragile little thing like you could possibly... With respect, Commander, Maya interrupted, her voice steady as neutronium, I believe you're underestimating both me and the nature of beast handling. The audacity of interrupting a Krillian commander sent ripples of shock through the crowd. Several recruits stepped back, expecting Maya to be vaporized on the spot. Zex's scales darkened to deep purple, a sign of dangerous anger among his species. Oh, really? And what experience does a soft little human have with dangerous creatures? Maya's lips curved into the faintest smile. Well, sir, I grew up on Earth, specifically in the Australian outback. The few beings familiar with human geography shifted uncomfortably. Earth's reputation as a death world was well known, but Australia held a special place in galactic nightmares. I see, Zex said slowly. And what exactly did you handle in this outback? Crocodiles, sir. 20-foot saltwater crocodiles. Also work with dingoes, funnel web spiders, taipan snakes, and blue-ringed octopi. Oh, and I had a pet cassowary named Bruce. The silence that followed was so complete you could have heard a plasma bolt charge. A cassowary, Zex repeated slowly. You kept a cassowary as a pet? Yes, sir. Found him as a chick after his mother was killed by poachers. Raised him by hand. He followed me everywhere until he found mate. The Gorvok warrior's bone spikes had retracted slightly. What is a cassowary? Maya's smile widened just a fraction. Imagine a 6-foot-tall bird with razor-sharp claws, a bone crest that can punch through steel, and the temperament of a berserker having a bad day. They're basically living dinosaurs that decided extinction was for quitters. And you kept one as a pet, Zex said flatly. Bruce was very sweet once you earned his trust. Though he did accidentally kick down my neighbor's fence a few times, we got excited. The recruitment hall remained dead silent. Finally, a Nexary mind reader spoke up, her telepathic voice echoing in everyone's head. Commander, I cannot penetrate her thoughts completely, but what I can sense there is no deception. Also, there is something else. Something that feels like what? Zex demanded. Like standing next to a sleeping volcano, sir. There is enormous power here, but it is perfectly controlled. Maya maintained her relaxed posture, but something in her eyes flickered. Permission to demonstrate, Commander? Zex studied her for a long moment. Very well, but we have no beasts here suitable for. Actually, sir, you do. Maya pointed to the far end of the recruitment hall, where a massive cage sat partially hidden in shadows. Inside, something moved with predatory grace. The other recruits turned to look, and several took involuntary steps backward. "That's a void stalker," Zek said slowly. "We use it to test advanced candidates. It has never been successfully handled by anyone below the rank of Beastmaster." "What's its name?" Maya asked. "Name? It's a killing machine. We call it Specimen 7. Maya shook her head. "No, I mean its real name. What does it call itself?" Zex blinked, all four eyes in confusion. How would we possibly know that? By asking, obviously. Before anyone could stop her, Maya walked toward the cage. The other recruits scrambled to get out of her way, pressing themselves against the walls. Even the guards raised their energy weapons. The void stalker pressed against the front of its cage, a nightmare of shadow and teeth. It stood 7 feet at the shoulder, with hide that seemed to absorb light, and eyes that glowed like dying stars. Its claws could slice through battleship armor, and its psychic howl could drive lesser minds to madness. Maya stopped just outside the cage and sat down cross-legged on the floor. "Hello, beautiful," she said softly. "You must be so lonely in there." The void stalker froze, its glowing eyes fixed on this tiny creature that showed no fear. "I bet no one here bothers to actually talk to you, do they? They just see the teeth and claws and assume you're nothing but a mindless predator." The creature tilted its head, a gesture so surprisingly dog-like that several recruits gasped. Maya continued in the same gentle tone. "But you're not mindless at all. You're probably smarter than half the beings in this room. And you understand every word I'm saying, don't you?" The void stalker made a sound deep in its throat. Not quite a growl, not quite a purr. "You do understand." "I thought so. Tell me, what do you call yourself?" "Not the name they gave you, but your real name." For several heartbeats, nothing happened. Then the void stalker did something that had never been recorded in galactic history. It spoke. The voice was like grinding stone mixed with distant thunder, but unmistakably intelligent. "Shadow? Runner. I am Shadow Runner." The recruitment hall erupted into chaos. Recruits shouted in amazement and terror. Guards fumbled with their weapons. Even Commander Zex rose from his throne, scales shifting through the entire color spectrum. Maya smiled and reached through the cage bars. "Hello, Shadowrunner. Cannot leave. Metal bars hold Shadowrunner prisoner." "Well, that's not exactly true," Maya said, running her fingers along the electronic lock. "These bars are just asking politely for you to stay inside. But they can't actually stop you if you really want to leave, can they?" Shadowrunner's eyes flared brighter. "How does small human know this?" "Because I recognize the smell of someone who's choosing to stay caged rather than fight every day just to prove a point. Trust me, I know that feeling." The void stalker studied her with ancient intelligence. "Small human is different." "Yeah, I get that a lot." "So, want to show these idiots what real predators look like when they work together?" Shadowrunner's mouth opened in what might have been a grin, revealing teeth like obsidian daggers. "Yes, Shadowrunner would like this very much." Maya stood and turned to face Commander Zex, who was staring at her with something approaching awe. "Sir, I believe this constitutes a successful demonstration. Shadowrunner and I would be happy to discuss the terms of my admission to the Beast Handler program." Behind her, Shadowrunner pressed his face against the cage bars and made a sound that was unmistakably laughter. The Gorvok warrior who had mocked her earlier was now backed against the far wall, his bone spikes fully retracted in submission. "Commander," the Nexary mind reader said, her mental voice shaking with excitement, "I'm reading massive psychic resonance between the human and the void stalker. They're communicating on levels I didn't know were possible." Zex slowly descended from his throne, his scales now a deep blue indicating profound respect. "Miss Chun, I believe we may have seriously underestimated both you and your species." Maya shrugged. "Happens a lot. We're pretty good at looking harmless until we're not." "And the cassowary you mentioned, Bruce? Oh, he'd love it here. All these interesting new friends to play with." Maya glanced around the room at the terrified recruits. "Though I guess some beings aren't ready for that level of friendship yet." Shadowrunner's laughter grew louder, and several recruits fainted. Tell me, Miss Chen, Zek said carefully, exactly how many dangerous creatures did you befriend on your home world? Define dangerous. Capable of killing a trained warrior in single combat. Maya considered this. Well, there was Bruce the cassowary, Sheila the saltwater crocodile, about 37 various venomous snakes, a dingo pack led by a male I called Bandit, 3 different crocodile families that lived in the water holes near my house. Oh, and this absolutely massive huntsman spider named Charlotte who lived in my bedroom. Your bedroom? She was great at keeping the other spiders away. Very territorial. Huntsmen's are. Charlotte was about the size of a dinner plate, but she had such personality. The remaining conscious recruits were now pressed against the exit doors. Miss Chun, Zek said slowly, I think we need to have a very long conversation about your qualifications and exactly what Earth considers normal wildlife. Sure thing, Commander. Should I ask Shadowrunner if he wants to join us? I think he's getting a bit cramped in that cage. Before Zex could answer, Shadowrunner spoke again. Shadowrunner goes where Maya Chen goes. We are. Pack now. Maya's smile lit up her entire face. Well, that settles it then. Hope you have a bigger cage, Commander. Or better yet, how about we skip the cage entirely? I have a feeling Shadowrunner and I are going to get along just fine. As if to emphasize the point, Shadowrunner began to purr, a sound like a contented earthquake that made the entire building vibrate. Commander Zex looked at his recruitment officer, who was frantically making notes on his tablet. Sir, the officer said, I'm not entirely sure how to classify the situation in our records. Put down approved for immediate advance placement, Zex said, and send a message to headquarters. Tell them we need to completely revise our assessment protocols for humans. Maya was now scratching Shadowrunner behind what passed for ears, and the apex predator was making happy rumbling sounds. Oh, an officer? Yes, sir. Cancel all remaining assessments for today. I have a feeling we're going to need some time to process this. As the recruitment hall slowly emptied of terrified candidates, Maya Chen sat beside the cage of the most dangerous predator in known space, both of them looking perfectly content with their new arrangement. The real adventure, however, was just beginning. 3 months later, the Galactic Military Academy buzzed with nervous energy as cadets prepared for the most dangerous field exercise in their curriculum. The proving grounds on Death World Kappa 7 had claimed more lives than most wars, but remained the ultimate test for beast handler candidates. Maya Chen stood at the transport bay's observation deck, watching her fellow cadets board the assault shuttle. Shadowrunner lounged beside her like a massive, deadly cat, his presence causing a wide berth among the other students. Nervous, Chun? Maya turned to find Cadet Vex Hardstone, the same Gorvok warrior who had mocked her at recruitment. His tone was different now, respectful but tinged with genuine curiosity rather than malice. Should I be? Maya asked, scratching behind Shadowrunner's ear equivalent. The Void Stalker's purring made the deck plates vibrate. Kappa, 7 makes your Australian outback look like a petting zoo, Vex said. The indigenous predators there hunt in coordinated packs, use tool-based warfare, and have been known to set traps for unwary visitors. Sounds like fun, Maya replied. What do you think, Shadowrunner? Ready to meet some new friends? The Void Stalker's eyes blazed with anticipation. These pack hunters, they will learn why Shadowrunner is apex predator of the void between stars. Vex stepped back instinctively. Even after 3 months, hearing the creature speak still unnerved most beings. All cadets report to Briefing Chamber 7. Announce the ship's artificial intelligence. Final mission parameters will be distributed before planetary descent. The briefing chamber was packed with the Academy's most promising beast handler candidates. Maya counted representatives from 12 different species, each accompanied by their bonded creatures. A Zentoran psychic sat with her crystalline dream wasp, while a hulking Draconi warrior kept his flame-breathing rock lizard on a thick chain. Instructor Grimm, a scarred veteran whose cybernetic arm told stories of battles across the Rimworlds, activated the holographic display. Kappa, 7 materialized in the center of the room, a world of purple vegetation and crimson skies. Your mission is simple in concept, potentially fatal in execution, Grimm announced. Each team will be dropped at separate locations across the northern continent. Your objective is to reach the extraction point within 72 hours while avoiding or neutralizing the indigenous threats. The hologram zoomed in on a particularly dense jungle region. The Shadow Maw Pack controls this territory. They are apex predators with intelligence comparable to most sentient species. They use coordinated tactics, lay ambushes, and have never been successfully challenged by off-world forces. My individual specimens range from 8 to 12 feet in length, with some pack leaders reaching 15 feet. They possess adaptive camouflage, electromagnetic pulse generation, and razor-sharp crystalline teeth that can penetrate standard military armor. And they hunt in packs? Asked Cadet Dex, a Nexary whose telepathic scorpion thing clicked its approval. The largest recorded pack numbered 43 individuals with a complex hierarchy and battle tactics that would impress most military strategists. Shadowrunner stirred beside Maya, his tail lashing with anticipation. Maya Chen, these sound like worthy opponents. They sound like creatures that deserve respect, Maya corrected gently. We're not going there to fight them, Shadowrunner. We're going to learn from them. Instructor Grimm overheard and fixed Maya with a cybernetic eye. Cadet Chun, I hope you understand that these creatures will not show you the same courtesy. The Shadow Maws view all intruders as either prey or territorial threats. Then we'll just have to convince them we're neither, Maya said with a smile that made several cadets uncomfortable. 6 hours later, Maya and Shadowrunner materialized in Kappa 7's northern jungle via teleportation pod. The air was thick with humidity and the scent of alien vegetation. Strange calls echoed through the canopy above, while bioluminescent fungi cast eerie patterns across the forest floor. Well, this brings back memories, Maya said, adjusting her pack. Remember that time we got lost in the Amazon, Shadowrunner? Shadowrunner was not present during Maya Chen's Amazon adventure. The Void Stalker reminded her patiently. Right, that was before we met. Still, same basic principle. Jungle full of things that want to eat us, need to get from point A to point B without becoming lunch. They began moving through the undergrowth. Maya's trained, reading the subtle signs of predator activity. Claw marks on trees, disturbed soil patterns, the particular way certain plants have been disturbed by passing bodies. Maya Chen, Shadowrunner said after they had traveled for an hour. We are being watched. I know, 3 of them, probably scouts. They've been paralleling us for the last 20 minutes. Should Shadowrunner eliminate the threat? Absolutely not. They're just being cautious, same as we would be if strangers wandered into our territory. Maya stopped walking and sat down on a fallen log, pulling a ration pack from her gear. Might as well take a break. Let them get a good look at us. Shadowrunner settled beside her, but his senses remained alert. The Watchers are confused by our behavior. Good. Confusion is better than aggression. Maya ate her ration slowly, making no threatening moves while maintaining casual awareness of their surroundings. After 30 minutes, she stood and stretched. Okay, friends, she said, speaking to the jungle in general. I know you're out there, and I know you're trying to figure out what we are. Here's the deal. We're just passing through. We're not here to hunt your prey, claim your territory, or hurt your pack. We just need to get to the other side of your forest. Silence answered her, broken only by the distant calls of native birds. I'll take that as tentative agreement to coexist peacefully. Shadowrunner, shall we continue? They resumed their journey, but Maya noticed the quality of the surveillance had changed. Instead of the tense alertness of predators evaluating prey, there was now a curious watchfulness. As evening approached, Maya began looking for a suitable campsite. She found a small clearing beside a stream, with good visibility and multiple escape routes. Standard protocol would be to set up defensive perimeters, Shadowrunner observed. Standard protocol assumes we're at war with the local wildlife, Maya replied, unrolling her sleeping bag. I prefer a more diplomatic approach. As she prepared her camp, Maya left small offerings around the perimeter, pieces of her rations, some shiny objects from her gear, and a small medical kit. What are you doing, Maya Chen? Showing respect. These are gifts for our hosts, acknowledgement that we're guests in their territory. That night, Maya slept peacefully while Shadowrunner maintained watch. Twice, shapes moved at the edge of the firelight. Each time, the offerings were examined but not taken. Dawn brought a surprise. Maya woke to find her gifts had been replaced with local equivalents. Strange fruits, carved bone trinkets, and what appeared to be a crude map scratched into a flat piece of bark. "Well, look at that," Maya said, studying the map. "They're giving us directions to the safest path through their territory." Shadowrunner, I think we just made friends. The Void Stalker examined the offerings with interest. These shadow maws are more complex than anticipated. Most intelligent creatures are, once you get past the teeth and claws. They follow the suggested route, and Maya noticed their escorts had multiplied. She counted at least 8 distinct individuals moving through the trees parallel to their path. By midday, they reached a natural amphitheater where the forest opened into a circular clearing. At the center, a massive shadow maw waited. This was clearly the pack leader, nearly 15 feet of crystalline-toothed apex predator. Maya stopped at the clearing's edge and sat down again. "Hello, Magnificent. I'm Maya, and this is Shadowrunner. Thank you for the hospitality." The pack leader studied them with intelligent golden eyes. When it spoke, its voice was like gravel avalanche mixed with distant thunder. "You are not like others who invade our hunting grounds. No, we're not invaders. We're travelers with respect for your authority, your companion." The Shadow Maw's gaze fixed on Shadowrunner. "It carries the scent of the void. It is far from its hunting grounds. Shadowrunner chose to travel with me. We're partners, not master and pet." The pack leader considered this. "You offer gifts. You take the safe path. You do not challenge our dominance. This is unusual. I was taught to respect the creatures of the wild. You were here first. This is your home. We're just passing through." Other Shadow Maws began emerging from the jungle, a dozen pack members arranging themselves in a loose circle around the clearing. Maya felt Shadowrunner tense beside her, but she remained relaxed. "Your companion prepares for battle," the pack leader observed. "Shadowrunner is protective of me, but he won't attack unless I'm threatened. Will I be threatened? That depends. What is your destination, small traveler?" Maya pulled out her mission coordinates. "The extraction point is here, about 20 kilometers southeast of your territory." The pack leader's eyes flared with alarm. "That is the domain of the Skull Crushers. They show no mercy to any who enter their lands. They will destroy you for sport." "Well, that's inconvenient. Any suggestions for alternative routes?" "There are no The Skull Crushers fear nothing. They have driven off even our strongest hunting parties. But they've never faced a combined force of Shadow Maws and Void Predators, have they?" The pack leader's posture changed, suddenly very interested. "You propose an alliance? I propose mutual assistance. You help us reach our destination safely, and if the Skull Crushers decide to make trouble, Shadowrunner and I will demonstrate why that's a poor life choice." Shadowrunner's purring intensified, and his eyes blazed with anticipation. Shadowrunner would enjoy meeting these Skull Crushers. The pack leader looked between Maya and her deadly companion, obviously weighing the proposal. "You would risk battle against unknown predators to honor our assistance? That's what friends do for each other. Friends." The word seemed to puzzle the massive predator. "This is also an unusual concept. We will consider your proposal." The pack leader disappeared into the jungle, leaving Maya and Shadowrunner alone in the clearing. An hour later, he returned with what appeared to be the entire pack, nearly 40 Shadow Maws ranging from juveniles to ancient veterans. "We have decided. The pack will guide you to the edge of Skull Crusher territory. What happens there will determine if this friendship has value." Maya grinned. "Fair enough. When do we leave?" "Now." What followed was the most exhilarating journey of Maya's life. Traveling with the Shadow Maw pack was like being adopted by a family of deadly, intelligent wolves. They moved through the jungle with coordinated precision, communicating through subsonic calls and electromagnetic pulses. Shadowrunner adapted quickly to their methods, his void-born senses complementing their native abilities. Maya found herself in a unique position of being the bridge between two apex predator species, translating intentions and preventing misunderstandings. As they approached Skull Crusher territory, the pack's leader called a halt. Beyond this ridge lies their domain. They will smell our approach and come to investigate. Are you prepared for what follows? Maya checked her equipment one final time, then looked at Shadowrunner. Ready, partner? Shadowrunner is always ready to protect Maya Chen, and I'm ready to show these skull crushers what happens when you mess with my friends. The pack leader's expression might have been a smile. Then let us go introduce ourselves to these self-proclaimed lords of the southern reaches. As they crested the ridge, Maya could see her extraction point in the distance. Between here and there lay territory controlled by creatures that had never been successfully challenged. That was about to change. Okay, everyone, Maya said to her unlikely alliance of galactic apex predators. Let's go teach some bullies about the benefits of good manners. The Shadowmaw pack howled in unison, a sound that shook the very trees. Shadowrunner added his void-born roar to the chorus, and Maya smiled the dangerous smile of someone who had spent her entire life making friends with things that could kill her. The Skull Crushers were about to learn why you never, ever mess with a human and her pets.